Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing some test hands with the Noble Knight deck that I had shown in a previous video. We're going to be going through doing a couple test hands for starting first and then going second. Do note, I will make some misplays. I am human. That will tend to happen. You can feel free to call me out in the comments if you would like. If not, please feel free to sit back, relax, enjoy a couple test hands that I'm going to show today. And we're going to go ahead and hop right on into it. So, if we're going first, this deck does not really establish up many negates, if any, but does have the capability of at least starting off with some combo ability, which we started off pretty good. So, what we can do here is go with activate the field spell Camelot. Next, we'll go ahead and activate Reinforcement of the Army, which will allow us to go ahead and get, in this case, we're going to want to grab Gawain. Actually, we won't grab Gawain. We'll go ahead and grab Brothers. And put our graveyard over there. We'll next go ahead and activate the Heritage of the Chalice, which will let us get a Noble Knight's monster from our deck to our hand. In this case, we'll want to go ahead and grab... Where is he? Noble Knight Madraw. So from here, what we can do is normal summon Noble Knight Brothers, activate the effect to special summon Madrot and Artorias from our hand. In this, we get to go through and we can activate the effect of this, which is Camelot, Realm of the Noble Knights. During your main phase, you banish this card until the next standby phase. Place one Noble Knights of the round table from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your field zone, then special summon one Artorias monster, or add it to your hand, one Noble Arms card from your deck or graveyard. In this case, we're going to add one Noble Arms after we get the Noble Knights of the Round Table. We'll go ahead and activate that, but we're going to next activate the spell. Sorry for that. My headphone cable got caught. We'll activate Noble Arms of Destiny, equipping to Medrot. Medrot effect to pop this. And then special summon. So we'll go ahead and activate the effect. Special summon one Noble Knight monster from our deck in defense position and destroy this equip spell. We'll go ahead and special summon Noble Knight Boars. Then since Noble Arms of Destiny was destroyed, we'll equip it to Boars. We'll then activate Boars effect. You can reveal 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck, and your opponent randomly adds one of them from your hand to your hand, send the rest to the graveyard. So we'll reveal Clarent, Caliburn, and Excalibur. We're just going to say that he gives us Clarent, the other 2 are sent to the graveyard, and that is then destroyed. So we have in hand is currently this. So from this point on, we want to go ahead and go directly into... Sorry, I'm just wanting to read something real quick. Yep. So we'll go ahead and go these 2, since they're both level 4s now, and not equipped. We'll go into Artorias, the King of the Noble Knights, which will allow us to equip the up to 3 equip spells from our graveyard to it, which will be Excalibur, Caliburn, and Destiny. We'll next take Brothers and Artorias and go directly into Custonin in defense position, not in attack. And we'll equip Clarent as well to the Noble Knight King. We'll go ahead and set our Noble Arms are needed once again. So what do we have? Well, we have a pretty decent board. We have a Noble Knight's King that is basically cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. It's at 2,500. I have gained 500 life points, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while there's face-up cards on the field with Destiny. Clarent is basically allowing our Custonin to do other things, being able to not make an attack directly, but we do have that capability. If this card's destroyed, it'll send this so we have something to recur when we go into excuse me, Artorias, which is our rank 5. All right, well, at the end step, what we would be able to do, since we have at least 6 or more Noble Arms and or Noble Knights on the actual board, and Noble Arms never mind, was about to make a misplay. Since we only have 2, we cannot activate any effects of Noble Knights of the Round Table. However, we do have the capability of still going on with this board, which is pretty decent for a turn 2 if we do not get anything on the crackback. But if we do, we have the capability of drawing up to 4 during our opponent's turn, since we can do since we have these 4 equipped spells on the board. And if we do draw 4, we get Meddraw, Tristan, Destiny, and Brothers. So we're basically back to where we were this past turn. All right, we're going to go ahead and go right into that second hand. All right, so what do we draw this time? We got Noble Arms Clarent, Glory of the Noble Knights, another Glory of the Noble Knights, a Heritage of the Chalice, and Noble Knight Brothers. Okay. So in this capability, all we're going to be able to do is establish one big boy on the board. So what we could do is activate Heritage of the Chalice, grab us a Noble Knight Madro, which is actually pretty handy here. We'll go ahead and normal summon Noble Knight Brothers, which will let us special summon Madro. We'll next equip Noble Arms Caliburn to Madro to let us special summon from our deck in defense position 1 Noble Knight monster. In this case, we're going to want to special summon Noble Knight Boars. Then we'll pop Caliburn. Caliburn will then let us re-equip to Boars. Boars will give us the same effect to let us send or reveal 3 and then equip 1 or add 1 to our hand. I'm just going to choose Excalibur, Gallatin, and Destiny this time. And then we're just going to say they give us Destiny. The other 2 are sent to the graveyard. And the other one is popped because of Boar's effect. So from here, what we do is take Madro and we'll go Madro and Brothers into Artorias, King of the Noble Knights, which will then allow us to equip the 3, which is Caliburn, Excalibur, and Gallatin. So he's already at 3k, 35, and is untargetable. We're going to go ahead and equip him with Destiny as well. And then we'll activate Glory of the Noble Knights, target 1, and equip it with 1 equip spell. So in actuality, I would have to hold off on this until I activate this effect and let it resolve. So this would resolve, giving me a capability of equipping Clarent to it, to Artorias. Then after it resolves, I can then equip Destiny. So he can attack directly. He's untargetable. He's at 3,500 attack and cannot be destroyed by Valor card effects, which is a pretty big board. Then you can detach one material from this card, destroy any number of spells and traps equal to a number of noble arms. So if your opponent sets 5 cards in the back row and he's still alive in the next turn, you can go ahead, activate the effect, pop all 5 in the back row for your opponent's turn. And right there, you're already well set off. I know it wasn't really much to show outside of that, but he would go down to 3,300 attack. You can still pay the 500 this turn to have him attack directly, but it's pretty nice to have. All right. Aside from this, we'll go ahead and go directly into our third and final hand, where we're going to be starting off going second. All right, let's see what we start off with. We got one King Arthur, one Noble Knight Yvain, one Until the Noble Arms Are Needed Again, one Merlin, one Caliburn, and finally the one Heritage of the Chalice. In this case, what we would want to do is the Heritage of Chalice to get us brothers. So we'll go ahead and get Noble Knight Brothers to our hand. And then from here, we can go up and go Noble Knight Brothers to special summon Artorias and Yvain. What we can do next is equip Caliburn to Yvain to give it an additional 500 attack, but it boosts all our other Noble Knights by 500. So this is 23 and 22 and 1,700 attack. Well, most people would ask, well, what do we do from this effect? Sadly, we can't do much because we are locked into our Noble Knights, if I do remember correctly. No, we're not. So, in this case, this is where we can do a couple of things. We can take our 2 here and go into Dreadnoid. We also do have a token. I almost did forget about that. He would be a 1,500 attack token. But if we activate that effect, we would be locked out of going into this play. So we're not going to activate that effect to make a token. All right. So we can either do that, or in our capabilities, with this, we can actually go into our Utopia line and do Utopia with Brothers and Artorias, and then go into Utopia Lightning. We'll detach 2, which is the Brothers and the Artorias. He goes to 5k during the battle step and damage calc. So once per turn during damage calculation in either player's turn, if this card battles an opponent's monster, this card has a Utopia Xyz monster. As an Xyz material, you can detach 2 materials, and its attack becomes 5k during the damage calc. Up next, we do have the Until the Noble Arms Are Needed Again, so we'll go ahead and set that, and then hold on to our Merlin for next turn. But in this capability, we do have the capability of swinging for at least 5k over something, plus 22 additional damage if they have nothing on board. That is at least 72 damage, or 7,200 damage. Now, if you want, you could, during your opponent's turn, activate Until Noble Arms again. You get Morgan the Enchantress of Avalon, which is pretty great because you can then activate this effect to pop Caliburn if your opponent activates a card or effect. send this card to the graveyard, destroy that Noble Arms equip spell. And if you do, negate the activation. So you got already one negate, and then you get to re-equip Caliburn to then go ahead and activate Ivane's effect to get a token that you can special summon defense for an extra body as a blocker. Then you have Merlin for next turn, which is very beneficial in keeping you alive and going on for next turn's combo. So for example, if you draw, well, looky right there, we got Excalibur. What do we do here? Say they've wiped our board completely free. So we'll say that everything was sent to the graveyard, we're still alive, but everything is now in the grave. What can we do? We're going to go ahead and normal summon Merlin. We'll activate his effect to tribute him. We'll go ahead and get Madro. We'll activate Noble Arms Excalibur. Equipping to Madro. Then Excalibur will then be destroyed after we summon in our Noble Knight Boars. Just making sure. Never mind. We're not going to do Boars because Excalibur doesn't revive itself. So in this case, we would be better off going with Dristan, because it protects us from other effects on the board. Then during our opponent's turn, we can go ahead and do the following, which is quick effect, banish Merlin, letting us Xyz summon with these two. We can go directly into Custon. Well, if Custon is then destroyed, we can then special summon back Custonin by ranking him up into Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorias. When it's Xyz summon, target up to 3 Noble Arms, equip spells with different names in your graveyard, equip those targets to this card. You can attach one Xyz material from this card, target one other monster on the field, destroy it. So, even if you can't do that, he is a good way of going into that, and then equipping Excalibur, and then Caliburn to him. Which makes him 2700. Yeah, not the biggest body, but he is untargetable and is very helpful in getting through some certain plays. When he does die, though, we do get to target level 4 or higher Noble Knight monster in our graveyard and special summon it. So in this case, we could revive back either Ivane, Madro, Dristan, Artorias, or Brothers. In this case, it would probably be best to do Brothers since he has 2400 defense. And he lets us recur 3 of our Noble Knight monsters in our graveyard back into our deck during our turn to draw 1 card. But that's all I have today for this actual test hand video. I hope y'all did enjoy. Please feel free to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. I do take into account of all the comments that I receive, and I do try to see what I can do with those comments to better improve my videos or provide content that you guys would like to see with deck builds or deck testing. Outside of that, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.
Is it okay if I'm to say I'm catching feelings from all the dealings? Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same?